So out of curiosity, talking a little bit about, the incoming sales side, is most of the customer base that you're working with, are they mostly inbound, or are you doing more outbound outreach to these
It's
customers?
largely, up till now, it's been largely inbound, but
Okay.
we're seeing as ClickHouse becomes more popular, it's now, and as the value, one of the things that was not so clear early on is how do you, why would you choose ClickHouse versus something like Snowflake? We had difficulty articulating that, partly because maybe we're just not good at it. But the other thing is you need a little practice and you need to understand the real trade-offs, which are not visible early on. And what we found was that what we have learned is that ClickHouse is a wonderful database. It's one of my top 3 out of the 20 or so I've worked in. But it is not a general purpose data warehouse in the way that Snowflake is. So Snowflake, the thing that's really great about it is if you have a big company like your Ford Motor Company and you have a bunch of applications that need analytics and you want to make one pick that's going to work for all of them, it's Snowflake. Because it just kind of works for all these different applications. It has very complete SQL implementation. It has very few knobs to change. It's pricey as heck, but it works. And you can give it to teams that don't know a great deal about the internals of databases. What ClickHouse does is if you have a specific application, like you're doing security event and incident management, something that requires you to ingest data rapidly, to alert on it quickly once something interesting happens, and to give people the ability to not just look at that event that's of interest, but to scan the entire history of related information, that's where ClickHouse shines. And so what we find is that ClickHouse is really great in enterprises where people are building sort of if you will, narrowly focused data platforms that focus on a problem like SEIM, like what I just described. That's where ClickHouse shines. And being able to articulate that, I hope that came out pretty clearly, because it's taken years to get to the point where we understand that, and like, who should we be recommending ClickHouse to? And it's, for somebody who's building that platform, the argument is you go to Snowflake and you say, hey, do you really want to be paying 10x your compute, the 10x, paying a 10x markup on compute, which is actually about what Snowflake works out to, or do you want to come and build a custom platform where you're running at 2x compute, give us a share of it, and you've got a much more capable system. You also own the data. You can, you can meet your security requirements, so on and so forth. That's being able to articulate that takes a long time. So I think that positioning of ClickHouse is now much clearer, and we see a lot of adoption based on people understanding that more clearly.
So really, this inbound motion, one of the first things is getting that positioning right.
Yes.
Right. It's understanding what ClickHouse can do and what the value prop is.
Yep.
So I think that's really critical.